It gives me great pleasure to welcome you, dear colleague, friend, and co-chair, Mr. Gaimele Goitsmang, and your entire delegation to Zimbabwe for the inaugural session of the Zimbabwe-Botswana Binational Commission. I'm confident that this inaugural session of our BNC will carry forward the vision and spirit of our heads of state and government, which they proclaimed when they met in Gaborone, Botswana in 2018 and decided to elevate the Joint Permanent Commission on Cooperation to a binational commission. Co-chair, it is for a good reason that His Excellency President Emmerson Mnangagwa, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, and his then counterpart, former President of the Republic of Botswana, His Excellency Seretse Ian Khama, in February 2018, decided to elevate our binational cooperation from Joint Commission to a binational commission. That decision was an affirmation of the desire by our historically connected friendly countries to enhance existing strong ties and to amplify the potential for cooperation between us. As this is our maiden BNC officials meeting, a lot is expected of us, not only from our principals, but also from our people who are the key stakeholders and beneficiaries of this partnership. What our heads of state and government agree on in the following days should not just end with signatures on paper, but should translate to real, tangible implementation of the agreed areas of cooperation. Co-chair, I wish to express my gratitude for the support extended to Zimbabwe by Botswana as our country embarks on a fresh development trajectory under the new dispensation. That support has not only come in the unyielding commitment towards the enhancement of relations through the BNC, but also in programs that will support our economic recovery in line with Zimbabwe's Second Republic's seminal blueprint, the Transitional Stabilization Program. Zimbabwe welcomes with much appreciation that Botswana proposed a 1 billion Pula credit line facility in support of the Zimbabwe private sector. I would like to encourage all of us as officials as we meet here to fully utilize our 2 working days to synthesize the remaining issues that will lead to the operationalization of this facility. I further appeal to all of us to try our utmost best to conclude what is possible during the current BNC session so that we can avoid presenting our principles with excuses. Co-chair, I'm delighted to hear that both sides are ready to sign a number of agreements. While some are at advanced stages of finalization in our respective jurisdictions, I am sure, Co-chair, that you will agree with me that we should focus our energies on agreements that are at an advanced stage to ensure that they are concluded and signed during this BNC. I am pleased to note through recent exchanges that the MOU on diplomatic consultations and the rules of procedure are ready for signature. The importance of these in harmonizing the modus operandi of the BNC cannot be overemphasized. These crucial MOUs, here I'm referring to the MOU on agriculture, which we do understand is almost ready, and mining. These true crucial MOUs go to the very heart of what drives our economies. Following the signing of the MOUs, it will be incumbent upon all of us to accelerate cooperation in training, research, and information sharing. We should speedily activate the joint technical committees in the two sectors to ensure actionable programs take off immediately. In the mining sector, Zimbabwe is especially keen to emulate how Botswana managed to harness its diamond resources, giving it a critical role in transforming the country into one of the most prosperous countries on the continent. Co-Chair, I further note with satisfaction the commendable ongoing cooperation between our two countries, among others in the wildlife management sector. It is pleasing to note that several issues have actually fallen off our agenda as a result of steadfast cooperation that has delivered on said objectives. In the spirit of mutually beneficial cooperation, Botswana is set to join Kavango, Zambezi, Kaza Transfrontier Conservation Area. And this, I'm confident, will add impetus to the successes already registered under the Kaza Univisa program, which was first introduced on a pilot basis between Zimbabwe and Zambia. Another area of cooperation is the restocking exercise of rhinos by Botswana, for which Zimbabwe is working towards translocating the remaining 12 rhinos out of the 20 that were offered. Finalization of the modalities for the donation during this BNC will demonstrate a strong spirit of cooperation among our countries. Co-Chair, while it is important to point out areas where we are excelling, it would be a disservice to our work here if we did not acknowledge the areas where we have faltered. Under the economic cluster, it appears various agreements remain in their infancy with respect to concrete cooperation activities between our two sides. Issues under the economic cluster go to the very core of our people's interests and should be treated with the urgency they deserve. Several of these agreements and previously identified areas of cooperation will be up for discussion during this BNC. These include the draft MOU on economic trade and investment cooperation, the agreement on small, medium enterprises development, and bilateral air services agreement, BASA. The conclusion of BASA would open up prospects for direct flights between our two countries, thus increasing the scope of people-to-people contacts and business and tourism between our two countries. Let me emphasize that in all these endeavors, our endeavors to raise economic cooperation between our two countries, the private sectors of both Zimbabwe and Botswana have an important role to play. We will therefore intensify consultations in the coming days to ensure that the Zimbabwe-Botswana Business Forum meets at the earliest possible time. We believe that the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair, which comes up in April, Co-Chair, provides a ready opportunity for such a forum to meet. Zimbabwe and Botswana have had several joint commission meetings since the inaugural session of the Joint Commission, which was in 1982. Since then, we have signed more than 30 agreements. The BNC should not only build on the progress, but should seek to increase the quality of the agreements that are already in existence. In the same vein, it is worthy considering that we dispense with those agreements that are moribund and assiduously focus on those that we can follow through. In conclusion, Co-Chair, I would like to encourage all of us to work in our usual spirit of cooperation, friendship, and consensus building, and come up with focused, pragmatic, and time-bound projects and programs that will contribute to the deepening of relations between our two countries and our two peoples. I wish you a wonderful stay in Harare, and this is, of course, to our visitors from Botswana, as well as fruitful deliberations. I thank you.
Director of Ceremonies, thank you very much. I greet you all this morning, and I take it that you've all had good rest. Ambassador James Mazoya, Co-Chair and Secretary for Foreign Affairs and International Trade of the Republic of Zimbabwe, I greet you once again, my brother, this morning. Your Excellency, Lieutenant General Matshwenyego Fisher, Ambassador of Botswana to Zimbabwe, Me Margaret Ruparang Ganda, Child Affairs and Interim of Zimbabwe in Botswana, Permanent Secretaries here present, Generals from our security organs, senior government officials, members of the media fraternity, good morning once again. My brother, you have given an objective assessment of the state of our relations, the achievements that we have realized so far, the bottlenecks, and what needs to be done going forward. So I don't know what I'm going to say because you've said it all. But I'll try not to repeat what you've said. Let me commence my remarks by expressing my profound gratitude for the warm ways of welcome and for the genial hospitality that has been extended to the Botswana delegation since our arrival in this beautiful city of Harare. We feel at home as the facilities you have placed at our disposal have made us really comfortable and will certainly contribute positively to our deliberations in the next few days. Co-Chair, today marks a momentous occasion of the first ever session of the Botswana-Zimbabwe Binational Commission. As you'll recall, the decision to elevate our bilateral cooperation mechanisms to a binational commission was taken in February 2018 during this historic state visit to Botswana by His Excellency the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa. We must therefore commend ourselves that we were able to expedite the signing of the agreement establishing the BNC, which was done in August 2018. Half a year later, we are here in Harare, meeting for the inaugural session of the BNC. This, I must say, should motivate us to continue with this momentum of implementation going forward. As you are aware, with the advent of the BNC, our previous cooperation mechanisms, that is the Joint Permanent Commission on Cooperation and the Joint Permanent Commission on Defense and Security, have now been merged under one mechanism called the Binational Commission. As such, we will all now be meeting under one roof. And it is therefore my hope that this new arrangement will improve coordination of our activities. What we should bear in mind is that the BNC is an expression of the strong bilateral relations which subsist between the two countries. In this regard, we are not starting from scratch, as work has already been done through the JPCC and the JPCDS over the years. What we need to do is to build on that foundation to carry forward our bilateral cooperation. The BNC also means that our heads of state will be meeting annually to receive reports on the status of our work and give strategic direction. I therefore wish to emphasize the point that we cannot act like it is business as usual. We need to ensure that whenever we meet for the BNC, we have substantive issues to report to our presidents. For we cannot cause our presidents to meet every year to listen to us reporting that Botswana is yet to submit comments on an MOU, or Zimbabwe is yet to submit names of members of the technical committee. The BNC therefore offers an opportunity to spot and design solutions that can fully unlock the wealth of potential that exists between our two countries. To this end, it is important that the decisions we make here are followed through and are converted into tangible projects that can uplift the lives of our people. This requires that when we break up to our different committees, we should make a comprehensive assessment of our bilateral agenda, identify new opportunities, and set out action-oriented goals with set timelines for recommendation to our ministers. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of work has already been done in different sectors such as tourism, energy, mining, defense and security, trade, to mention but a few, as a result of our long-standing bilateral relations. In that regard, there is a lot that we can do with each other and for each other. As we know, both our countries are experiencing high levels of unemployment, but the difference is that Zimbabwe has incorporated vocational training in the school's curriculum, making it easy for your people to be resourceful. This is something that Botswana can learn from Zimbabwe. On the other hand, Botswana has developed expertise in the diamond industry over the years. We have even started the implementation of diamond beneficiation to ensure that we develop local skills in the industry. We can share our experience in this sector to help Zimbabwe develop her own industry. Examples like these are also found across other sectors, which calls for our concerted efforts to work closely together to unlock this massive potential between our two countries. Co-Chair, it is my hope that the outcome of this BNC will enhance and solidify our bilateral cooperation in many sectors of our economies and will improve the lives of our people and many generations to come. As you rightly said, Co-Chair, economic diplomacy should take the center stage, for it talks about bread and butter. And we are now talking about the fourth industrial revolution, in which itself it has brought many complexities. And I am confident that working together, we can be able to advance our development agenda. The complexities of today, no country, big or small, can address it alone. And therefore, we need to work as a collective if we are really to cope with the dictates of today's international system. With those few remarks, let me wish everyone fruitful discussions and a successful inaugural session of our Binational Commission. I thank you very much.